This next conversation began with a tweet. A Republican from Frisco has proposed something no other state has done: banning minors from social media. The story took off around the world, but this morning we're talking about how all this might work. State Rep Jared Patterson from North Texas says he'll formally propose this when the legislature reconvenes in January. Representative Patterson, let's start with a basic question here. In the days since you announced this idea, what kind of reaction have you had to it?
It's been a mixed bag. Twitter has been pretty negative, but Twitter's a pretty negative space anyways, at least in my experience. But what it's done, I think the most is started a number of conversations with parents about the effects of social media on their children. And at the end of the day, I think that's the best thing that's come out of this so far.
And speaking of parents, doesn't this idea perhaps impede parental rights on what their children should be exposed to?
That's a really good question. I've been a leader on parental rights. Just this year, I've been working on more parental involvement on the selection of library books related to sexually explicit books and that sort of thing. But the problem is that parents don't stand a chance when you're talking about artificial intelligent machine learning algorithms on these social media platforms. You're talking about teams of engineers behind the scenes, even child psychologists that are hired to hook in these children to keep them on the social media platforms longer, and to put them down these rabbit holes and some things that are pretty disturbing.
Where did the idea come from? How did you develop this? Was it after what happened in Uvalde, or had this been percolating for a while?
It's been percolating for a while, just talking to other parents. I have 3 children myself. That's kind of where it started. But after the Uvalde shooting, I held a number of meetings with school board members, with law enforcement, with superintendents, and certainly not as a one-size-fits-all solution to gun violence. But it is something, a theme that kept coming up in these discussions about things that are harming our kids and things that aren't good for our kids, especially related to mental health. We already have laws in place about tobacco, alcohol. Children can't buy firearms. There's a lot of laws protecting the physical health of kids, but I think it's time that we have the conversation and time to put forward mental health as being as significant as physical health for our kids.
Well, let me ask you about that, because immediately when I saw this headline, I thought, well, doesn't this impede a child's First Amendment right?
That's a really good point. I think that as legislators, we've got to find that balance. Number one, our top priority is to protect the rights of those that we represent. But I think that we've also got to figure out where that line is. So have Second Amendment rights and Third Amendment rights and Fourth Amendment rights. But I think that as a society, we have gone through and passed laws to better protect people, based on protecting their rights, but also protecting their health and well-being.
Here's the last question I have. How in the world would you enforce something like this?
Even though we don't have words on paper yet, we don't have a bill that's ready to file yet. We're currently researching ways that we can do that. But I think we've got to hold the social media companies responsible and put the onus on them to make sure that they're not targeting our kids and that they're not putting our kids through something that damages their mental health. You look at suicide rates. Suicide rates from 10-year-olds to 14-year-olds declined from 2007, and then tripled from 2007 to 2017. We have a major problem in the state, and I believe that social media is a big piece of the pie.
This is a piece of legislation we'll definitely be watching. We appreciate the time.
Thank you, sir.